Kade Renfro, star quarterback from Stephenville High School. You eventually made your way to Ole Miss before transferring, entering the transfer portal to attend the University of Arkansas and to compete for that quarterback position there. You have since encountered just a very weird situation at U of A, where there is, here in the last month or so, there's been an anonymous Instagram account that has accused you of sexual assault, rape. Those are some pretty big accusations, and which has led to you kind of, you are no longer part of that program right now. Tell me, before we get into the weeds of anything and everything about this whole thing, did you commit any of those? Did you do any of those things that this Instagram page is saying that you did?
No, sir, not at all.
Have you ever done anything like that to a woman, or for that matter, committed acts like this, acts of violence, or done something to a woman against her own will?
No, sir. Everything that I have ever done has been consensual.
So this Instagram account, it originated the end of May, and really mainstream media picked it up, and then it said pretty much only one side of the story. Today we're here to kind of give your side of the story with all this. Since all this has transpired, what has been your life? What has been your life like for you and your family since all these accusations have originated?
Yes, sir. It started pretty small. Then it just kind of blew up on us. Notified everybody that I knew to notify about what was transpiring. And then it just kind of snowballed overnight. And I just really went into hiding because I was getting death threats. My family was getting attacked. My brother was getting attacked, even though he had nothing to do with any of this. And people have just been reaching out to support me, but then there have also been the attacks still.
Why do you think someone would entertain this or do something like this to you?
I'm not really sure. I have had my experience in college and, gone through that whole process and, just like any college kid does. But I'm keep on going back to that same question, why would anybody do this? And I honestly could not tell you.
I mean, obviously you were not on campus at the time because the semester had ended. What have been interactions like between you and the University of Arkansas athletics program?
So we were actually on break for about 2.5 weeks that we get in May. And then normally we report back at the end of May, beginning of July, like the 29th, 30th, or 1st of June, I'm sorry. And really it was just, I called them on the 23rd whenever this all started happening, let my player development coaches know that this was going on. All they really said was everybody had been notified. Then as it continued to transpire and snowball, like I said, had a call from the head coach and really just said, you shouldn't come back this first semester in the fall or in the summer, and we can revisit it whenever all this is over in the second semester. And no validity, no claims to any of that, while I'm also rehabbing a knee injury. And so I'm just being kind of left in the dust and just kind of held at my own will of a fake Instagram account.
So despite no charges, no formal charges being filed either in Washington County, City of Fayetteville, or anything having to do with the University of Arkansas, or for that matter, here in Texas thus far, yet you're kind of being asked to perhaps not be a part of the team.
Yes, sir. That's really what it boils down to. And I was just left dumbfounded because here I am wanting support from people. And there are several of my friends who are close to me and people that actually know who I am as a man and as a person, know that they're there to support me and know that I would never do any of these things that are being claimed. And yeah, it was just ridiculous and kind of just left me hurting at my heart for some of the people that didn't support me, that I was just kind of like, wow, you actually would believe that I would do some of these things.
So you're being given no support from your own program, from your own university.
Correct.
Regarding this.
And the only support that I'm really getting from the program is players here and there that are reaching out. My best friend up there, he's staying in contact with me because he knows who I am as a person, and leading each other through our everyday life and helping each other make each other better. And he's just kind of awestruck and just like doesn't really know what to say because of these accusations, but also knows to support me. And he's just kind of there supporting me as well.
Now, what's interesting is a lot of these images, from the Instagram page, the anonymous Instagram page, mind you, a lot of them have been found to where they're part of some other criminal case.
Yes, sir.
When do you feel like that gives you a little bit of hope that you can be exonerated and perhaps you can see the light at the end of the tunnel with all this? I
mean, from day one, whenever I first saw it, I immediately said I had no idea who those girls are. And from day one as well, I was just like, the type of stuff like this is making it a lot harder on actual abuse victims and actual people that have been sexually abused and raped to not want to go to the police, because they kept on claiming that the police are doing nothing, Title IX's not doing anything, the university's not doing anything, university police. And I was just like, yeah, whenever you make false claims like this and say that the police are doing nothing, then real victims won't actually want to go to them because they don't know what to do, because they'll feel like they won't have any support. And it's just like a hashtag's been going around of liars hurt survivors, and that's very true.
I imagine it's got to be difficult because, you're having to fight a battle that's there's no charges filed, and yet it's a battle on social media.
Yes, sir.
How exhausting, how taxing is that? Put that into words there.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're just waiting around, I feel like, and anxiety's just been through the roof because we don't know what's going to happen. Like, people have just been saying, oh yeah, we filed charges, but you call up there where they quote unquote filed charges and there's been nothing. And I knew also that right as we could find those pictures that were posted, that it would shed some light on this Instagram account, because I mean, everything that they've been fabricating is lies, and they keep on asking for evidence, which they are getting no evidence because there is no evidence to produce.
You began attending Ole Miss,
yes, sir,
in 2020 upon graduation from Stephenville.
I graduated early.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you graduated early. And so tell me, from what time to what time, from what month to what month during the year of 2020, were you at Ole Miss?
So I graduated in January of 2020, went to Ole Miss January 2020, and I stayed there through December of 2020. So I stayed there through 2 semesters, and those semesters were the main part of COVID. So we were really only there for 8 weeks, and I ended up leaving, going home for 2 months from, I think, March through May, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we had those times off, and then we had to report back to Ole Miss June 1st. And it's being alleged that at the University of Arkansas, these took place June 27th of 2020, when there's no possibility that I was even there because I was at Ole Miss in a house.
And at this point, had you ever visited, Fayetteville in an official way, that you may be entertaining being a student there? Had that occurred? Had you ever been officially on campus in that capacity?
I had never actually been to Fayetteville. They started recruiting me late in the recruiting cycle of that year, and it was one of those things where time was limited. So I never had actually been to Fayetteville at all. The only time I'd ever been to Arkansas was just driving through to Ole Miss, or just road trips with my family whenever I was younger. I've probably driven through there, but never in this time frame.
With all that said, how could that have happened?
It couldn't happen, to be honest with you. To be quite frank, the next time I'd ever been to Fayetteville the first time I'd ever been to Fayetteville was, I believe, in October of 2020 for the Ole Miss Arkansas game, and later that year for the Arkansas-Tennessee game for one of my visits.
So as you battle this on social media, you're trying to battle what's out there before there's ever any charge, at this moment there's no charges against you. At this point, what's the future for Kade Renfro?
So I was actually planning on graduating this December with an entrepreneurship degree from the University of Arkansas, and that's kind of been put on hold. I'm still enrolled in classes and everything, but the stress that it's put on my life and my family's life, it's kind of been hard to focus on that sort of thing right now. So, just making sure that I'm a free man is the main part, and clearing my name and clearing my family's name, because my family didn't ask for any of this. I caused all this by, just living the college experience, as some would say, and doing what I thought was cool at the time. When looking back, in reality, I drifted away from my values and drifted away from the person that my parents raised me to be. And I knew that wasn't right, and I should have, really should have came to those conclusions a lot earlier and not done some of the things that I did in living the college experience and having fun, what I thought was fun at the time.
With all that said, what would you consider to be the college experience?
In all honesty, whenever you leave high school from a small town, you just get a lot more freedom and a lot more liberty to do what you want to do in your head, you feel like is what you want to do. Not having your parents there, meeting new people for the first time, having a larger audience to see everybody and, meet new people, like I said, and just drinking, having fun, living life, feeling like you're free for the first time. Because in a small town, whenever you're there, everybody knows you. Everybody knows who you are, especially if you're a quarterback on the football team. And it's kind of makes me question why some of these accusations from Stephenville are coming out right now, because I had never heard of any of these accusations before this started blowing up.
So not only are we seeing them originate from Instagram, but we're also seeing, as you say, from Stephenville now?
Yes, sir. There are some people that have just come out saying some things that, like, he's always been like this since high school. And whenever I read that, I'm like, you never did know me, especially some people that are calling me awkward and uncomfortable whenever they hang out with me in person. And I'm pretty sure that you can ask any of my really close friends from Stephenville or from Ole Miss or from Fayetteville that's just not the case, that I'm one of the most easygoing, fun-loving kids to be around, and I'm very outgoing whenever it comes to that sense. And sometimes that might have not been great in my favor, because I am so outgoing, I can talk to anybody. That might have upset some people too.
Do you still want to play college football? Is that still a goal of yours that you still want to check off at this point?
Football is my first love, and so I've always wanted to play college football. I didn't really care about the NFL. I just wanted to play college football and see my parents on the sidelines supporting me, see my family on the sidelines supporting me. So I would 100% love to play college football again. But knowing how serious these allegations are, and how much I'd have to prove myself to other people, like I am doing right now, because there's always going to be naysayers, and the sayers that say that my parents paid everybody off is just completely false. But I would still love to play college football, yes, but I know that that'd be very difficult for me to do at this time.
There's always two sides of the story, and you have your side. How important is it to make sure that both sides are told in this whole thing?
And like you said, there's two sides to every story. If there weren't, everything else would just be hearsay. And that's kind of what it's been boiled down to at this point. That's why I really deactivated all my social media for right now, because nobody knows my side of the story. And even if I did try to tell my side of the story, nobody would listen because of the chaos that has been caused and how much backlash I've received. They'll just be saying that, oh yeah, he just did this just to do it and get more attention on him. When in reality, I'm just really trying to show that, some of the things that I did say were wrong, and I know that now. And I've known that for months, because I was in a dark place and I did try to seek help, and I did. And, showing the other side of those conversations will help show my side of the story and show that I wasn't acting on this alone. There were other consensual conversations being had.
Consensual conversations?
Yes, sir. And I would never mention that to anybody that was not okay with that. And there have been numerous girls that have come out and said, yeah, Kade had talked to me about this and was very respectful that I was not okay with it. And, you know, that's really what it boils down to, is the people that actually do know me and having had encounters with me.
What is your message for those right now who just have no belief in you, think that you did this, think that you are a guilty person, and that you committed these acts? What is your message to them?
You know, I think it's people like that never have truly actually talked to me or gotten to know me, that I care about their opinion, but those opinions aren't the ones that matters to me, because the people around me right now that are supporting me through this tough time in my life are the ones that do matter to me. So proving them wrong isn't first on my agenda. Proving them, you know, that I did not do these things, like I said, just is not in the cards right now. I got to be able to clear my name first, and, you know, just make sure that I'm able to do what I want in life after this.